Howdy, folks. I'm anti-heroic arsenic, ardently annihilating argumentative aprons.
I'm Amber.
And here are more argumentative aprons for us to annihilate. Wow. I guess arsenic is rough. It's real rough. Let's get started. Alright, folks, our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Throwing Away My Stepdaughter's Birthday Cake? I've been in Emily's life since she was 14, and she's now 17. My goodness, it has been rough. She's with us 50% of the time, and when she first moved in, we had a whole conversation about how to make this as easy for everyone as possible. If I have an issue, I will talk to my husband, and he handles all the discipline. This is a double-edged sword. She is sweet as honey. When her dad is there, the moment that he is gone, she is a jerk. Her favorite thing to do at any moment is ruin my food. If I'm cooking, she'll dump salt into the stew or other things. It's so frustrating, and I haven't been able to catch her. My husband knows and asked about it, but he won't discipline her without any proof. So I set up a mini camera in the kitchen. Today, as I was making her cake, birthday is in a week, but I was going to surprise her before she went to her mom's. I put them in the oven, and she goes over, takes them out, and dumps a ton of salt on top. I threw them out, and I told her that that was her birthday cake, and she's not getting any more cake from me. She goes to her father and tells him that I messed up the cake and won't fix it for her. He comes home mad at me, and I show him the video. Now he's even more mad that I filmed in the house, even though this has been a problem for a little while, and he wouldn't do anything. Everyone is calling me a jerk, and I don't know. Should I just remake the cake? Edit and update. Now a bit later, I posted, and my husband came up and apologized to me. He fears that he'll lose his kid if he's too strict. He did go and talk to his daughter and parented. It was a long talk, and she came out of the room and apologized to me. It was long and broke down to his ex. She took a picture of the cake after I did this and didn't think much of the video. Well, her mom has been hounding her, and she found it easier to cause problems than to tell her mom no. He is going to go deal with his ex, and he asked me to write a list of everything that I can remember her doing, and we will go to a mediator. For my stepdaughter, she is grounded for a month and needs to cook meals 4 times a week for the family. She took this with grace, so I think that there is hope and want to give it a try before blowing up the marriage. Alright, folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Not the jerk. I'm glad that it turned out that in some ways, I'm glad that it turns out that it's not an issue the daughter has with you, and hopefully the mediation will help work through this. You definitely have a lot of work, though, to do with your husband if you want to work things out, because the way he handled the situation initially was completely inappropriate.
Yeah.
He's known for years that his daughter has been sabotaging you, and then he just wouldn't listen to you. And then all of a sudden, when you have proof, he is like, how dare you film? Like, it just feels like he kind of set you up in a lose-lose situation.
Yeah, I mean, I do feel like OP was put into a lose-lose situation. They kept telling him that she was messing up the food, and he would refuse to do anything about it. Didn't tell her to knock it off. And I mean, I can understand him being afraid of losing his daughter, but I mean, that's the risk of being a parent, right? You have to discipline your children, and that's in a split household like this, it can be difficult, especially if a kid is able to make the choice of where do they want to live. So, but it's in a lot of ways better to have good order and discipline than it is to cave to her every whim just because you're afraid of losing her.
Yeah, well, it's not going to help her grow into a mature adult if you're letting her get away with, sabotaging people and treating someone like garbage, treating a family member who she's supposed to be at least, parental type figure, even if she doesn't see her as an actual parent.
Yeah, I mean, I think OP wrote some stuff here confusingly, but it sounds like the ex has been putting her up to doing things.
Yeah.
And that's really unfortunate if that's the case. Like, why would you set someone up to fail like that? And why would you put your daughter into a position like that?
I mean, just to break up the relationship. She may very well know that OP's husband wasn't going to discipline the daughter, may even have threatened him with going to court at previous times or something. And so she just wanted to destroy the relationship, is my guess, or to make him miserable.
Yeah, I mean, it does seem like that. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. 4243G says, info. How old was she when her parents separated? And OP replies, 11. I met him a year after the divorce, and his exes always hated me due to him marrying a younger woman. I'm like 5 years younger than her. I mean, I could see that being a problem if OP was like 17
Yeah.
at the time. But that's not something to hate OP about. That would be
Mm-hmm.
something to hate the ex about. And Joycelyn 1973 says, not the jerk. You could have handled it better. Serve the cake and show the video in the meantime. I would divorce over this. Father and daughter are obviously not ready for a relationship with another person, and this will cost you your sanity. And OP replies, I seriously thought that I was going insane. Every time I made something, it would be wrong. Really, the camera was for my own sanity. And I mean, I can understand that. I mean, that's
Mm-hmm.
gaslighting at its finest,
Yep.
right? And so the daughter was literally psychologically tormenting OP in a lot of ways, because
Mm-hmm.
if you feel like you're doing everything right and then suddenly it always comes out wrong and no one admits to it, I mean, you start to think that maybe there's something wrong with you.
Yeah, and that's why I think Opie has a big husband problem still. Like, it's good that he's owned up that what he's done is wrong, but that doesn't undo the 3 years of being gaslit that Opie went through.
Mm-hmm. And Low Key Hobby says, you put up with this for 3 years? Oh, no, 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 no. And OP replies, this one is new. It's been happening for about a month. Usually she is causing problems, but not to this extent. So it doesn't sound like OP's been dealing with... It sounds like she's been dealing with minor issues for a little while. But this is like a whole new level of like gaslighting.
Yeah.
Alright folks, our next letter is titled, Am I the Jerk for Being Upset that my fiance only spent $13 on my engagement ring? I've been with my boyfriend, now fiance, for 2 years. He was previously in a relationship that lasted 6. They got engaged a couple of years in, and he spent $1,200 on the first ring. She didn't like the size and shape, so he saved up and bought her a $6,000 ring. At the time, the story didn't affect me, and I didn't think much of it. Fast forward, and we're talking about getting engaged, and he asks my mom's blessing and starts showing everyone the ring and getting all excited. So it was making me excited to finally see it. The day came, and we went for a little canyon drive, and he parked in a beautiful spot and then got down on one knee and proposed. He pulled out the ring, and it was a heart-shaped one with an infinity sign. There was no diamonds. It was just sterling silver. I still put on a smile, and I teared up because it was a special day, and my family saw the ring and got frustrated and said the ring is a statement of how much someone values you, and I got it into my head, and my mom dug around and found the exact same ring on Amazon for $12.99. I was heartbroken. He makes incredible money and didn't mention anything about the ring being temporary. I started crying and I went home and brought it up to him and he got defensive and I dropped the subject. He said that I made him feel like garbage. Am I the jerk for not being happy with this ring? Alright folks, what do you think?
Not the jerk. First of all, I wonder why he told you how much he spent on the ex's ring. Like, that seems... Why would he be like, I spent $6,000 on this other person, but I basically got you a gumball machine ring? Like, that right there seems really weird. And secondly, you know, an engagement ring is supposed to be a fairly permanent symbol of your affections for each other. And if it's a $13 ring off of Amazon, like, I just don't necessarily see that standing the test of time, you know?
Well, I think that a ring is just a symbol. And certainly people should be happy with the relationship itself, and it's just a symbol of the relationship. With that said, there is a societal expectation that an engagement ring is going to be something beyond a $12.99 Amazon ring. And like what Amber's saying, will this ring actually survive the passage of time? Because a $13 ring might not. Now, honestly, if that's the dynamic that they had, and this was something where they didn't mind inexpensive things, in fact, they preferred inexpensive things, then that might be okay. But it sounds like OP is actually hurt that he spent a lot of money on somebody else, but when it came to them, it feels like they're just kind of not putting in the effort, because a ring isn't just... You know, there's a certain level of effort that goes into it.
Right. And I also like that contrast just sticks in my head so much that like he was willing to put so much money into someone else's ring. Like, is that a statement of how much he values the relationship, how long he expects the relationship to last? Like, I think you definitely need to have a conversation with him, ideally with a third party mediator, like a couples counselor, to get to the bottom of why he thought getting such a cheap ring was the avenue to go.
Well, and again, like I said, I mean the relationship's the important part, and certainly feel bad for OP that that it's difficult, right? Because I'm not saying that OP should be monetarily focused or anything like that, but also there is the expectation that it's not going to be a cheap thing. But if he's having financial struggles or if he's having other financial issues and he's just not really wanting to talk to OP about that, that's a completely different set of issues and something that they should kind of talk about and address.
Well, that's the thing. I think that this is indicative of a deeper issue in the relationship. If he has, the means to buy someone else a really expensive ring, and then he gets OP basically the cheapest ring you can get, either one, he's worried about the relationship lasting and doesn't want to invest a lot of money into the relationship, which is something that definitely needs to be talked about before they get married. Two, he could be having financial difficulties, but again, that's something you really need to talk about to your partner before you get married. Like, I don't see any way that this isn't a sign of some deeper issue.
Yeah, I mean, it's a hard situation. It sounds like the OP is hurt. It sounds like he's hurt, and that's just not really a good place to be at. I think they need to have a serious heart-to-heart and a discussion about like this ring and their future, and their relationship and all that kind of stuff.
It could also be some weird relationship test too, which also isn't cool.
No, I mean if it's a relationship test, then that's even worse, right? But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Cultural Emu 3548 says, not the jerk. As a jeweler, it's not really about the money, it's about the longevity of the ring. Wedding rings are meant to be worn every day for the rest of your life, and that means that they are exposed to a whole lot of daily wear and tear. That's a reason that they are made out of gold or platinum and diamonds. Those are the most durable materials available. Your ring is either plated or sterling silver, and neither of those will hold up well over time, especially not if it's plated. Sterling silver gets very tarnished and scratches very easily. The same thing with diamonds. There are much less expensive diamonds available, lab diamonds, but the chemical compounds of diamonds make them much harder than any other stone, so they don't get abraded over time and chip as easily as other stones. Even though the diamond industry can be critiqued in many ways, there's a legitimate reason that diamonds are the choice of engagement rings, and they are really forever. And finally, I've worked in sales, and most couples pick out the rings together. It's really unusual for one partner to just decide what to get, without their soon-to-be fiance's input. You're the one who has to wear it every day, forever. It should reflect your personal style. It's not about how much money he spent. It's about having a ring that will be an heirloom. And OP replies, I agree, and I don't want to pass on this ring to my son or daughter. Engagement rings should be a mutual and special, and I felt excluded and not thought of. It's already lost some of the zirconium diamonds, and it's turning green. That's not a good sign if it's already turning green.
Yeah, and that's not even sterling silver if it's turning green.
Yeah, it's like nickel or something like that.
Yeah.
Alright, folks, and our next letter is an update to the one we read yesterday. Am I the jerk for leaving my wedding because my husband embarrassed me? And thanks so much to Bass Bowshirt for sending me these slides. I was able to recover the text from them. They were able to find some screenshots of the update because the original post was deleted. So thanks again. Update. I decided to speak to him bright and early this morning. I'm leaving him. Some of you might be happy about that, and some of you might not be. I decided to call him and get his reason for why he did what he did. He told me that he just thought it was a funny prank, and that if it was at the wedding, on a happy day, then he could change my mind. Plus, since it was a tradition in my family that I wasn't following, he thought that he could get some points with my family, and then told me that he's sorry that I took it as disrespect. I told him that he shouldn't be saying that he's sorry that I took it that way. He should be apologizing for hurting me. Where's the I'm sorry? I told him that he hasn't really apologized with accountability once. All of his apologies have been backhanded. I also reminded him that I didn't have a good relationship with most of my family, nor my mother, who he forced me to invite. I told him that he knew I was already the black sheep of my family, and that the verbal abuse and public humiliation that I received by my mother for years really messed with me, and he knew that. Then he says this: why should I have to apologize because you can't take a joke? I blew up. I told him, "Are you serious? If it was me who hurt you to this degree, the first thing I would do is apologize, while you can't even force yourself to be decent for a few seconds and apologize to me." I also told him that he was trying to get in good with a family who abused me by publicly humiliating me, and that this is something that is unforgivable. Marriage means that you stick by me, yet you showed you obviously do not. It's not about you ruining my dress or my hair or even the cake. It's about how you knew how I felt about this and the trauma that I had connected to what you did. He then tried double downing and saying that it wasn't his fault for not apologizing because my family was telling him how dramatic I was and I was hurting them by leaving the wedding for a joke. He said that he loves me and doesn't want to break up over this nonsense and that I should just come home. I told him that I wasn't coming home and that it wasn't even about the cake anymore. It was because I cannot be with a man who won't apologize when he's wrong, who gaslights their significant other into receiving the blame. He started cursing me out at this point, but after about a minute of hearing him scream at me, I hung up. I guess he started telling the family because within a half hour, my phone was blowing up again. The worst ones had to be from my mother and his sister. My mother was telling me that I'm going to end up alone because I can't take jokes and I'll never be able to keep a man with my attitude. Even saying that my clock is running out fast and when it did, no one will want me and I'll be alone. His sister was telling me that I'm a disgusting B-word for hurting his brother and wasting his time. That she wishes that he would have broken up with me 2 years ago when he first wanted to. So now I guess I know that he wanted to break up with me. What I also know is that he was cheating on me for 6 months. With his ex who wanted him back, but then she dropped him because he stayed with me. The thing is that I had a good relationship with his sister and she knew that he was cheating on me. I guess she put everything out on the table since I was leaving anyways. I blocked most of my family and I blocked all of his family and I also blocked him and I'm getting an annulment. My friend said that I could stay with her for a few months until I get back on my feet. I told her that I really appreciate it. So yeah, that's the end. I'm crying while typing this. I wasted 3 years on a man who never really cared about me. I've lost what little relationship I had with my family, and now I only have the few friends that I have been blessed with. I'm going to have to pick up the rest of my old stuff. I also told him before I blocked him that if he broke anything of mine, I would be bringing him to court. Thank you all for the kind words and encouragement. I'm going to go to sleep now since I haven't done so in 24 hours. All right, folks, what do you think of that update?
I am so sorry, OP, for all of this. And I mean, I guess the one upside is that you found this out while there's still time to get an annulment.
Yeah.
You know, I know it was really painful to find out the man you thought you were marrying isn't at all the person he pretended to be. And I know it's going to probably hurt for a very long time. And I'm sorry your family is so awful in all of this too.
Mm-hmm.
But hopefully you'll find a better and happier future without them.
Yeah, and I mean, I just want to say that I am really sorry for what OP's gone through. This is a lot to find out all at once. He was cheating on her on top of just being a garbage human being. And I know that she said that their relationship was happy, but it sounds like he wasn't very happy. And it sounds like he was just hiding things for a long time. And it's really just a terrible thing to be brought into.
Yeah, well, and some people just want to have their cake and eat it too. And it may have been he was happy enough with OP, but he also wanted his ex. And, like, it's just not a good situation.
Yeah. But then why not pick the ex over OP? So I don't understand his reasoning here. Like, he had his out, he could have left her.
Yeah, well, he may have seen her as more like marriage material or something like that. There are people who have weird ideas about this person you sleep with, this person you marry.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's true. But let me know what you folks think. And again, I'm so sorry to poor OP here. Alright, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I have a beverage of choice right here, and Amber's got a joke.
What do you call a vampire that rides first class in an airplane?
You know what I call a vampire that rides first class in an airplane? Another Jovial Bobstein vampire joke, courtesy of Jovial Bobstein. That's what I call them.
A passenger.
A passenger? I mean, I guess so. And I have Mega Mint. I mean, I swear, it's like half of Jovial Bobstein's monster jokes are about vampires. So I think he was trying to come up with 101 vampire jokes, but then he ran out of steam and he's like, we'll just pad this out with other monster jokes.
It could also be my sampling bias.
Oh, it's the sampling bias.
It could be.
Alright, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy Wednesday, Hump Day, Friday, Junior's Eve. Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance. And please, have it in the form of some nutrition facts.
Cake. Calories, lots. Contains way too much salt. You should probably throw it out.
Yeah, if a cake does have a lot of salt in it, it's probably not a very tasty cake. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.